Hey there, YouTube family. It's Stocks with Josh. I'm still in Florida, but in a couple hours I've got to catch a flight and I'm heading home. So I'm enjoying this warm weather at the moment. The markets have been heating up, but mostly red. But all of the Stocks with Josh plays that I've brought to you in the last month, we're up still from my entry prices. And even on some of them today, they're taking off while the markets are red. In particular, I'm talking about Norwegian Cruise Lines. Back on August 28th, I gave you guys this play and I said, I'm looking to enter into this around $13. On that day, it had been coming down around the $13.80 to $13.60, and I identified that we would get some decent support at $13. Well, over the next couple of days, it did come down to that point of entry. It came all the way below that, under $12.50, but I was keeping an eye on it. And when it started to move back up, I put my position on at $12.75. And it's been a rocket ship since. We have been heading up, and today, even with the Dow being down 1,200 points, I'm up 25% on Norwegian Cruise Lines. So how did I know that this stock had room to the upside? Why was I willing to risk my capital in the midst of these scary markets, these high volatility markets? Well, it was a technical play for me. And on that video, which I'm going to leave at the end of this video, I want you guys to go back and I want you to watch the technicals very carefully so that you can understand for yourself my logic. Because I don't just want to be bringing you guys stock plays. I want to teach you how to find these stock plays, how to do the charting, and how to be a confident investor. Learning to trade, I tell you, I've used this analogy before. It is like printing your own money. We're not digging ditches here, folks. We are making decisions and making money off of those decisions. There's obviously a lot of risk, and there was a lot of days that I had been down before I've gotten to the place where I understand what I understand now and enjoying some of the fruits of my labors or some of the profits. I want you guys to understand that as well. So hit that like, say hi in the comments, hit the subscribe and the notification bell. Today, I'm going to go into some of the fundamentals behind Norwegian Cruise Line and what I see there and how that impresses me. And I'm also going to go back into the technicals so we can review where our profit taking should be on this stock, as well as what we might expect in it in the days ahead. We also want to look at the risk. We want to look at the fundamental risk and we want to look at the technical risk. So here's the fundamental story. The COVID restriction rules were dropped by the cruise line this last August, and that was monumental. You have to remember why the cruises fell so bad. Obviously, it was COVID. COVID would decimate the cruise industry, and so it's been punished. It's been brought down to its absolute low. And from that 2020 March low, we steadily climbed back up until we hit the moving averages. I always tell you guys that when a stock moves too far away from its moving averages, it always wants to go home, and that's exactly what it did. And now we have been bouncing off of those moving averages steadily in a downward trend. The fundamental story has changed with the COVID restrictions being dropped in August. It's now a new day and a new opportunity for them to ramp up this business. That's number one. Number two fundamentals that we have to look at is their debt scenario. Okay, so these guys roughly have about 18 billion in short and long-term debt, and they have about 2.5 billion of cash and cash receivables. So there is obviously a very negative debt scenario surrounding this company. But the question is, how have they been performing lately? In the last 12 months, these guys are up almost 4,000% year over year. Well, we know last year was bad, but being up 4,000% is pretty good right now. And that's got the attention of the market that these guys are performing well. We got to keep a close eye on their cash balance moving forward, as well as their growth moving forward. Now, fundamental three, this is always one of my most important factors, is the leadership. What's the leadership like? Are these guys in it for the long haul, or are they looking to take a cash out bonus when the business gets sold or goes through bankruptcy? A lot of these guys have those big bonuses in their contract no matter what happens. And the CEO of Norwegian Cruise Line is a guy named Frank Del Rio. He is a 25-year industry veteran. And he took Norwegian Cruise Line from a one-ship outfit that could accommodate 600 passengers to an 8-ship fleet. This has been his success story. And I believe that this guy would sooner go down with the ships than he would abandon his legacy of growth and accomplishment. So I want to tell you that whenever I'm looking to invest in a company, especially one that is such a bad balance sheet, I have to look at who's in charge, who's running this ship, and can I trust them? Are they motivated and incentivized to succeed? I personally believe he is. This guy was an immigrant from Cuba when he was 6 years old. Man, listen, he doesn't take anything for granted. He's not one of these Ivy Leaguers that is just going from a failed bonus structure to failed bonus structure and just, these guys seem to cash in whether they do good or do bad. No, this guy grew up with the pain. He grew up with the hay. An old farming saying is if you grow up with the hay, you learn not to complain. All right, man, this guy's a tough dude, I think, and he's going to work on this and he's going to make this company work. So I have confidence in him. We're going to look at the technicals, but before we do, I just have to quickly acknowledge I entered a competition on MooMoo for best YouTube video, and it was a stiff battle. A ton of other great YouTubers with great fan bases were voting left and right. And on the last day, I dropped from the #1 spot and I was down in the #2 spot. But my family, you guys rallied and you pushed me to #1, and the numbers blew off the top and I was thousands of points ahead of everybody else. I just have to say thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you guys. I also want to mention that if you're not on MooMoo, it's a great community. I chat with you guys there. I give technicals to you guys there. I talk with you guys about your trades. It's a great area to chat and communicate with me besides YouTube. I also try to get back to you guys in the comment section there, but you can reach me there. But if you're not set up, then you got to create an account. There's a link in the description as well as the top pinned comment. And they have they're just increasing their benefits to new subscribers or new accounts created every single day. It's now up to 15 free stock that you can get up to 13 free stocks with just $100 deposit. We don't do them for the free stock, even though I think the free stock is amazing. I can't believe how competitive the exchange business has gotten. We do it. They're a very large exchange. They're bigger than TD Ameritrade and E-Trade. They've got 17 million users overall. But I like them because of their full extended hours for the retail trader. The retail traders get shut out of a lot of things. They're not given all the hours of operation. You're on MooMoo, you get 16 full hours, and you also get all the trade types that you need. You can't be successful unless you can dial in the different types of trades that can work for you at different times. If you're not sitting at your desk all day long watching your trades, which most of you are not, most of you have a full-time job that you have to be at, and you can only check your trades or your investments on your cell phone. You need those different order types. So click that link, download MooMoo, put in $100, and join my community over there. You can find me under the Discover tab by searching in the search glass in the top right, Stocks with Josh. Thank you guys for helping me win that competition. That felt great. Thank you very much. All right, I want to talk to you guys about how we're taking profits on Norwegian Cruise Lines. First of all, I'm all in, so there is no more averaging into the price. I would not be buying in incrementally. If you're going to jump in, it's only a scalp trade. I talked about the difference between a scalp trade and a swing trade yesterday. So at this point, if you're going to come in, then you have to have a tight stop loss. Okay, my tight stop loss would be $14.80. All right, now let's talk about our target prices. The first target that I gave you in my other video where I initially talked about this was $15. We were looking at some options and some stock between $13 and $15. So we hit target 1. My next target for this is $17 and around 30 to 40 cents. That's target 2. I very likely will be looking at taking some of my profits off the table at $17. I'm not going to wait till it hits that very last penny. I'm not getting greedy, guys. And if you watch that last video, you know that there are 2 technicals that we're looking at in regards to whether we cut and take our wins or whether we hold it longer. 2 dynamics to this trade. One is time. I pointed out that Norwegian had a pattern of moving up consistently for 3 months and that we were only in the 2 months of that 3-month window. So I'm going to continue to watch the time factor. And the second was when it would hit the 100-day and the 200-day moving average. We've already crossed over the 100-day moving average. Now we're looking for an ultimate touch of the 200-day moving average. So that's how we know when we're going to take profits. And target 2 right now is $17. But since it's now become a scalp trade, we're no longer averaging in. We averaged in around the $13 mark. We are now looking to protect all of our capital from a market swing or a drop. I still believe in the whole narrative that I've given you regarding Norwegian Cruise Lines, and I believe that we're still in that uptrend and it's still heating up. Okay, guys, play it safe. Pay attention to the details I give you. I want to thank you guys for joining me. Hit the like if you haven't hit the like yet. If you learned something or you enjoy this content, don't forget to subscribe so you do not miss my plays or these mini classes, as I'm calling them. I'm giving you guys my logic, my trade setup, and exactly what I'm doing with my money. I'll see you guys tomorrow in the next video. Peace and blessings, my friends. Take care.